Welcome to Super Soul Sisters. My name is Jamil Oluka and you're watching UBC TV Inspiring Uganda. In Super Soul Sisters, we make sure that you bring you the best of the best stories from the ladies' perspective. And also, we make sure that we bring women to the front. It's not like, making women be there in the backyard, but here in the front line. And today, I want to thank you again for watching UBC TV and also for following us on YouTube and supporting Super Soul Sisters. To all the sisters who have appeared in Super Soul Sisters, I give you flowers. However, I want to remind you again that we have Super Soul Sisters' most inspiring story pageant, which is going to be having its grand finale on 14th of December at Amphitheatre Nakasero. And we remind you that you should come on board. For ordinary entrance, it's 20,000, and then for the round table, it's 500, and then for VVVIP, if you want to come as an organization, as a group of corporates, as a group of women circles or something that wants to support the ladies, you can pay for 1 billion, and all this money is going to support a girl child. We have so many talents that we are going to be showcasing on that day, and prizes. We are also having godmothers who are going to come and represent these girls, and we shall reveal them at due course. They are going to be CEOs from different organizations, ministers, but they will be ladies, and that is the whole point of Super Soul Sisters.
Super Soul Sisters' ground-based inspiring story grand finale is here! With our theme of Vision for the Future, come and be part of this amazing yet inspiring pageant as we focus on the girls' life journey through storytelling to change people's lives. This December, Saturday the 14th, 2024 at Nakasero Primary School Amphitheatre from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. in partnership with Plan International Uganda and UBC TV. Ordinary tickets are sold at 20,000 shillings, VIP table at 500,000 shillings and 1 million Ugandan shillings. Be there!
We have a Super Soul Sisters all the way from Faweu, and she's going to be telling us who she is, where she grew up from, the usual that we discuss in Super Soul Sisters. So Linda, you're most welcome to Super Soul Sisters.
Thank you so much.
We have a saying here, once you enter in Super Soul Sister, you remain a Super Soul Sister forever. So I'm going to ask you to tell us a little bit of what your name, who your name is, because I know Lindy Quann, but maybe the pronunciation or something. But I think I'm on point, isn't it?
Lindy Quann, yes.
Lindy Quann. I like the Quann. It sounds like, So, Lindy, you can tell us a little bit who you are, where you're from, just that.
Sure.
Then we delve in.
Yeah, so like I said, my name is Lindy Quann. I currently work with Faweu Uganda, so Forum for African Women Educationalists, the Uganda chapter, as a resource mobilization advisor. So I've been supporting Faweu for about 8 months now. I've been in Uganda for almost 2 years, volunteering with different NGOs. Originally, I'm from Canada.
Wow.
So I did my education there, grew up until I was, finished university, and then was fortunate to come here.
There are 3 places we know about Canada. We know Quebec, and then Toronto.
Yeah.
And I think, what is this other place? There's a place you mentioned, that one is also very common. Is it the East Ends or something?
Probably the West, the mountains in the West.
Yes.
Yeah.
So those are the only places that most people know about,
true.
because they know Quebec, they speak French, and then Toronto is the city. And there are so many movies we watched about Canada.
It's true.
Like I told you earlier, the man from Toronto, so
Yes.
everyone knows that is Canada. Anyway, away from that, thank you so much for coming for the show. And Lindy, when you came to Uganda, how did you even think about coming to Uganda?
That's a really good question. I had an interesting path, actually. When I went to university, I studied science. So I finished my degree, but it just wasn't exactly what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to help people, I wanted to travel, I wanted to, really live life the way I wanted to do it. And during my undergraduate degree, I was able to move to India, and I was a project manager there, and I worked on a healthcare project in a rural community, and I loved it. It was such a good experience. And I'd always been curious about Africa generally, so an opportunity came up to come volunteer for an NGO, and I took it. And so I arrived in Kampala January of 2023 as a volunteer, and I was helping to support social entrepreneurs, so all female social entrepreneurs. And yeah, I fell in love with Uganda, and now I'm with Faweu. So.
Have they given you a name already?
Depends on what region.
Which name would you want us to give you as Super Soul Sisters?
Whichever you like, whatever you feel is
Whichever
fitting.
is nice. Okay, that's nice. So when you came to Uganda, because when you came, you first came into teaching, like training women into entrepreneurship.
Yes.
Why the women?
I've always been very passionate about women's rights. I think around the globe, there's a lot of challenges that women particularly face. I know there's a lot of challenges that affect everyone, but me as a woman, I definitely resonate a lot with those distinct challenges. And I know that there's a lot of support that can be given and can be appreciated. I think, women, when they're empowered, are the most powerful people. And I know that a lot of people just need to be given the chance, and they can positively contribute to society. They can work wonders. So I've definitely seen the impact that programs that work with women and girls can have.
Wow, interesting. So I'm going to take you back like 20 years ago.
Okay.
Yes. How was Linda like growing up as a child?
Growing up as a child, she was very active. Yeah, I grew up in a family of all sisters. There's just myself and one other sister, and so our parents were very interested in getting us in sports, in science, in everything that we were interested in. So I was very fortunate to just be able to explore whatever was interesting to me. I loved swimming. I loved being outside. All of that, and I loved school.
Wow.
Very much loved school. So I was always studying and reading a book.
And reading a book. So if we are to, let's say we are to shoot a movie about Linda, what is that thing that you did when you were young that you're like, oh my God, I wouldn't want anyone to do this?
Oh my, I don't know. I think I should have, as a kid, taken more time to take a break. I think every now and then. I think in order to figure out what you like and all of that, sometimes it's important to just relax a bit. I was always very busy, very engaged.
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
You had football, you had science.
Yeah. So I don't know if I don't have any regrets in life, that's for sure. And I don't know if there's anything I'd be too worried about being shown. But I think it might be, a bit boring maybe. But
no, that's not boring. Because what I know is people who love reading find pleasure in reading. People who love sports, there are people who cannot even go to the field and they find that boring. So it depends on your interest and likes. But also I want to take you back still when you're little, like, what is that memory that you carry that you would like to tell your nieces, other people, like at old age, you're like, this is a memory that I would like to share with anybody who wants to talk about my life?
I grew up in a very small town. So a lot, we always had family around. And I think just the things that I'd want to share with, friends, family, like future generations, would just I'd want to explain that communal feeling and how it was to just spend a Saturday at my great-grandparents' house with all of my family members. Those are kind of the memories that stand out the most to me.
Wow, interesting. No wonder you're into helping girls. So now, when you came to Uganda, you said you went into entrepreneurship, teaching the women how to empower themselves, get into businesses. How was it like? What experiences do you have to share with us about that?
It was very eye-opening. Yeah, so I was supporting that project as a programs and partnerships fellow. So I was volunteering here, and entrepreneurship isn't something that I had really had much of a hand in before, but program support, partnerships, that kind of thing is what I do. Yeah, I was really inspired by all the ideas the women had, and it was social entrepreneurship, so all of the ideas came from them going into their communities and identifying a need.
People usually say that you can have the money and it makes you feel good, you feel very happy, but also you can do a service which makes you whole. So do you want to tell us that this service that you provided to these women made you so happy?
It definitely wasn't about the money. It was definitely about the service and the work that I was doing. It made me, just watching the women make their own money and start their business and, seeing what I could do to help was so worth everything to me.
Wow, interesting. So what are some of these activities that these women did to lift themselves from, poverty?
There some that come to mind. There was one woman who was making jewelry and utensils out of animal remains, so bones,
Wow.
horns, that kind of thing. One woman who was trying to make plastic, like pavers, out of like plastic bottles that she would collect from her community. There was some making liquid soap. There was, a number of and a lot of them aim to employ other women from their community to give them a chance to make money also.
Now, I'm going to swift you
Yes.
back now to Faweu. So how did you get now to work with Faweu after working with men? What drove you into now, is it because they were from mother to child, or what really intrigued you to now to shift to girls?
Education has always been my passion, the place that I want to be working and want to channel my energies. In Canada, I had worked on a lot of projects in education, in girls and women in science, technology, engineering, math. So that's been my background. So the social entrepreneurship was a bit of a step in a different direction to learn something new. But once I got to Uganda, I'd volunteered for about 6 months and then had gone back to Canada, and I couldn't wait to come back.
So you first went back to Canada?
I went back to Canada in the middle, and then I applied for another opportunity, and Faweu just seemed perfect. The things that they stand for, the programs that they run, are very much aligned with what I was wanting to do.
Wow, interesting. So let me also again take you back to what you've said. When you went back to Canada, so what was that was keeping you like, I have to get back to Uganda?
Everything. Uganda is such a great country. I think there's a lot of work to be done, but also a lot of great work being done. So there's a lot of local and international NGOs and other organizations, community-based projects where people are really passionate and committed to what they're doing. They want to see things change and improve, and they want to work to help others. And I love the communal spirit about everyone in this country. And I had made so many good friends here. I had the weather, of course, is perfect. Everything like that, and the food is so fresh. So everything was pulling me back to Uganda.
Wow, interesting. So when you came back, you came straight to work with Faweu?
Yes, yeah.
And when you came to Faweu, Africa, how was it like in the beginning? Could you describe to us how you were received, what you did first, those things, so that you tell us exactly the experience?
When I arrived at Faweu, there was so much to learn. They have so many programs. They work across the country. So even understanding the geography, what projects where, who is in charge of what. They were very welcoming and made it very easy for me to learn, but there was a lot of reading, a lot of talking and learning and trying to figure out kind of where I fit.
And where did you fit?
So I'm in resource mobilization. That's my role at Faweu, and so that means I write grants, I fundraise, I help them be able to have even more projects and programs and create even more impact. And so I need to learn a lot about the needs of communities, the needs of the people we want to serve, the gaps that we identify. And so for me, my role is definitely a bit more behind the scenes usually.
Yes.
Working with the people that implement the programs and collecting ideas and working with a team to make sure these things come to life.
Wow, that's quite a lot of work. Lindy.
It is, but it's rewarding.
Because when you talk about partners and then you're here writing grants and then you're mobilizing and then you're doing campaigns,
Yes.
It's very interesting. So, coming to campaigns, there is a campaign that you guys ran. I actually saw it on, I think, YouTube. Like it popped on as a pop-up advert about the 20,000...
20K for Transformation campaign.
20K for Transformation. So take me through that 20K transformation. How did you birth the idea? What was it about? Why the 20K, not 10K, not 5, maybe 2,000 or 50,000? Why the 20K? And how did you come up with this idea?
So I can't take credit for the idea. This idea was from our executive director. So Susan Opak Tumasime, she came up with the idea and she was just telling it to everyone. She couldn't, she had this passion, she has this passion, and she was so excited to share this idea. And so when she told me, I was also excited. So I thought, okay, we have to make this happen. So we sat together, we made a plan, and we decided on 20K because for many people, it's something that they can afford to give. And we wanted to make sure, there's a lot of funding from international people, from international donors, from organizations, corporations, but we wanted something that the average person could contribute to. We wanted something that, even if you have to save up over a few months, you can probably give 20K. And 20K, like 20,000 shillings is the minimum donation. So for people that are willing to give more, able to give more, we can meet people where they're at. So that's where the amount came from.
I can see here, you even put it 20K for transformation, together educating girls for a better Uganda.
Yes.
And then you also put codes like MTN merchant code, I think it's 24420, FlexiPay merchant code 238500, Airtel phone number.
Yes.
And then you can pay in US Ugandan shillings, USD, and Euro bank transfer also accepted.
Yes.
And then you also put here, go to faweuuganda.org for more information.
Yes.
Which is very good. But now, you can take us through also how long this campaign took. Like how long did you plan for this campaign to take? And then what were the outcomes? What were the challenges?
Definitely.
Yeah.
So we started thinking about this campaign in April and May. So that was when we did our kind of planning process. And so now the campaign's been running for about 3 months in full force. We were able to, make a series of videos that we've been happy to share. They feature not only Faweu staff, but also parents, teachers, students themselves, alumni, everyone from our community. We were very happy to have them come in and support us and support this cause. And yeah, I think, when you have the passion, things can come together very quickly.
Yeah. So, because what I know is, Linda, running a campaign
Yes.
of 20K, Ugandans will always say, but why that 20K? They should have put it at 10,000. But from what you've explained, you said 20K. So this 20K,
Yes.
for example, is the campaign still running?
It's still running, yes.
It's still running. So if, for example, you said it's 20K and I have my 5,000, I say, let me give my 20K, but I give it in a period of maybe like a week or so. Is that also acceptable?
Of course. We wanted to make this campaign as accessible and communal as possible. We want people to feel that they can give what they are able to give. And so while we're asking for 20K, and we're happy to work with people where they are, make sure that they can give in installments, help them save up to that. And if they can't give 20K but they still want to contribute, they can always give what they have. They can contact us to learn more, and there might be other ways to contribute.
Other ways. So, okay, the campaign is still ongoing. Meanwhile, our Super Soul audience, it's still ongoing, and you can contribute 20K. When they say 20K, guys, they don't say 20,000. You can donate as much as you can, but this should be the minimum that you should give. So if, for example, me, Jamila, I say, okay, I have my 20K, the campaign is running for 3 months, you can say, I can deposit 20K every month and we'll still be doing something. So this 20K that you guys came up with, and also more, as I told you, it's not just 20,000. You can even decide to give 5 million, 10 million, 1 million, 500,000, whatever you desire to give, because this money goes to help girl child. So now I'm going to come back to you. The 3 months that you've been running this campaign, what are the good sides and the bad side that you've gone through, so that we know how it ran, and then how people can support?
Definitely. So I think all campaigns are usually slightly slow starting. You need to really, get the word out there, and that takes time. But we are happy to say that over the last 3 months, we've raised over 16 million Ugandan shillings. And as of a few weeks ago, we had a ceremony where we supported the first 15 girls.
Wow.
So we were able to provide the fees necessary for them to be able to sit their exams.
Wow.
So of the 15, at least the majority were in Senior 4 and Senior 6. So they were ready to write those exams, and that's often a time when you find that a lot of girls will drop out. So I mean, it's a time when extra fees are there with the exams. There's a lot of pressure, a lot of other factors. So yeah, we're happy to be able to give those girls a chance to complete that stage of education and be ready to move on to the next.
So this 16,000 you got, it was a period of 6 months.
16 million, yes. It was a period of 3
million.
months.
So imagine if people had contributed more, actually, this money would have gone higher. But I want to take you again to the same thing that you've talked about, raising this money, 20,000, to help the children. So what criteria did you use to pick these girls?
So maybe I can back up and talk a bit about the need and why we created this campaign, and then I'll lead into how we chose our students. So at Faweu, we get a lot of people contacting us and requesting support and wanting help. And while we have a number of programs and scholarships that we give and other ways to support people, you can never do enough. And we want to do everything. We want to do it all. So we noticed that we had a lot of applications coming in just saying, whenever funding's available, we'd like to be considered. This is our situation. And so every day, our executive director and all of the staff, we hear so many inspiring stories. We meet so many deserving people. And so this really came from that passion that it kind of fostered in us to want to do more. And so when we were choosing our students, we looked at that bank of applications that we had. We also looked at, some partnerships, some people, some other organizations that we knew had really strong candidates that fit this criteria. And so for the first 15 girls, we were looking particularly for girls in Senior 4 and Senior 6, because like I mentioned, those are times when it's very common to see girls drop out due to the pressures associated with exams and fees. But ultimately, this campaign is for, deserving girls that want to continue their secondary education generally.
Yes.
And we have other programs that provide bursaries and scholarships for university and technical vocational training. So we especially want to make sure that girls can, get to a point where they can benefit from that support as well. Yeah.
Wow, interesting. So the 15 girls that you picked, I'm still going to ask you the criteria. Did you you picked them from those who really were in Senior 4 and Senior 5. And which regions did you pick them from? Which regions in Uganda?
All regions. So we had, for the first 15, we had girls from the central region, the east, the north, and the west. So across the country, just like all of our other programs.
Wow, interesting. So now, this particular campaign, you've already run it for 3 months and you're able to get 16 million out of it. Do we also have girls that have already benefited from this initiative from Faweu Africa, and what are the numbers?
Yeah, so at Faweu Uganda, like I said, the 20K for Transformation campaign is fairly new. So in our first 3 months, we're able to support 15 girls. But for other programs, we've provided scholarships. We have a very strong alumni network, and a lot of very inspiring stories there. I have a lot of girls and boys in our alumni. We support not just girls, but for this campaign, it's just targeting
girls. What about
child.
other scholarships? You only give to girls, or
no? We give to both. We give to girls and boys. So depending
that's
on
the part I didn't know.
Yeah, depending on the program and the project that we're running and where the intent behind the scholarships we're giving, it's a ratio between boys and girls. So for some projects, we take whoever fits the criteria. For some, we do 80% girls, 20% boys, 70-30, 60-40, depending on the need that we perceive.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So now, how many do you have that are the scholarships that are running right now? Which levels are they?
So right now, our biggest project at Faweu Uganda is actually a Pan-African project. So the MasterCard Foundation has partnered with Faweu Africa and 10 chapters across the continent to provide scholarships. And so in Uganda this year, we had a target of sending 500 girls and boys, and I think this is 80% girls, to technical vocational education training centers and university. And when they get those scholarships, it's a holistic scholarship. So it's not just money for school fees, it's also accommodations, it's making sure that they are fed, that they have mentors that can help them kind of flourish in university, and they go through an orientation program. It's really designed to suit all of the needs that we've noticed.
And when you mentor these young people, let me ask you, Linda, because we give scholarships. You give scholarships to everyone. What if some of these kids are not doing very well at school? What do you do about it?
We don't let them drop, maybe is a strong statement, but we encourage them with everything we have not to drop. There's always something that can be done. There's always support that we can give. And so we encourage them to come to our team with the challenges that they're having, and we always work with them to find a solution. And so we, no matter how long it takes them to finish, we want them to finish, and we're invested in that. So yeah, we make sure that whatever the challenges may be, that we support them.
Have you had scenarios where some of them have said, no, for me, yeah.
All of the students we choose are incredibly motivated. They've gone through the process to get chosen. They've shown their passion. They've showed, that they're so deserving. And so most of them don't take it for granted. I would say maybe none of them take it for granted. None of them,
wow. So how many do you have right now whom we can, go and meet?
Oh, of the alumni, there's countless. So Faweu Uganda has been around since 1997.
Yes.
Faweu Africa has been around since 1992. And their headquarters are in Kenya. And so since then, we've been supporting with scholarships. And so I don't even know how many alumni there are, but I know that the association is yeah, there's a lot. And they're very engaged. They are very focused in giving back to their communities. I was chatting.
And they also support their fellow.
Yes.
Wow.
So even through this campaign, the alumni themselves have been able to raise close to 4 million shillings to contribute through their own channels. Yeah.
Wow, interesting. Anyway, thank you so much, Linda. We'll be coming back. For those of you who are watching UBC TV, it's been nice having someone who is doing something for the children, especially for the girl child. When they talk about a girl child being a girl who grew up from both village and town, I really appreciate. Some of us were lucky to have parents who took us to school and they were passionate about education and they had the means, because there is a parent having the passion, but when they don't have the means. So some of us were lucky that our parents had the means and they had the passion. Thank you very much to all parents there who have that. But for those of you those who have not been able to get that privilege and they have got opportunities, please take education seriously, because it's what can get you out of your situation. But also I want to give credit to Faweu. They always say, educate a woman, you educate a nation. So if you give even 5 girls opportunity to study to university and they get something, those are 5 women you have empowered who can add about 5% to this country. So it's very good. Also, I want to remind you about the pageant, the finale, which is going to be at Nakasero Primary School Amphitheater. There is enough parking, and we want you just to pay a little fee of 20,000 for you to come and experience and support the girl child. For those of you who want to come as a team, you can pay 500 for a table, and for VVVIP, you can pay 1 million. We will have these girls telling you their stories. Trust me, once you come there, you will be hooked, because these girls that we've picked, their stories are so touching. They have hope. You will not live without taking something home. Because when girls speak about their stories and a girl has had to use a leftover mattress to go through periods, that is something that nobody would want their child to go through, even your cousin. If a child has to walk miles to go to school, but they still have the passion, that child needs opportunity. If a child is at university and they are pursuing law and they have the brains, and yet all they need is just school fees, my God, what would you do as a parent, as a leader? Some of these girls are in broken families. There is one of them who is with I think the mother is struggling with alcohol, like brewing local brew. If such a girl has passion to become a police officer, to become a legislator, why don't we support her? Because where these kids are, it is not conducive for them. So if they have the courage, the hope, then we should push this hope so that they be somewhere. An uneducated nation reduces crime. It reduces a lot of problems like, childbearing, because, for us women, these girls are in a productive age. The moment they get out of school, meaning in 5 years, they'll be having like 4 children, which adds into our economy and all these things. So if we can keep these girls in school, they come out, they become something, then everyone would be happy. That is the passion we have as Super Soul Sisters. That is the passion Faweu Africa has, and Plan International. So let us come together, support these girls. It is not just about Super Soul Sisters. It is about the girl child. So be there at Nakasero Amphitheater on 14th. It is going to be marvelous. We are having so many godmothers coming all the way from ministries, organizations, corporate companies, they are coming to support these girls. And even as UBC here, we are ready with a big team who's going to support these girls. So what we want from you is just to come there. And also, to talk about the 20K. We are going to talk about it. For now, let us go for a break. We'll be right back.
Super Soul Sisters ground-based inspiring story grand finale is here. With our theme of Vision for the Future, come and be part of this amazing yet inspiring pageant as we focus on the girls' life journey through storytelling to change people's lives. This December, Saturday the 14th, 2024 at Nakasero Primary School Amphitheatre from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. in partnership with Plan International Uganda and UBC TV. Ordinary tickets are sold at 20,000 shillings, VIP table at 500,000 shillings and 1 million Ugandan shillings. Be there.
Welcome back to Super Soul Sisters. My name is Jamila Luka and you're watching UBC Inspiring Uganda. Before I go anywhere, I want to remind you that we are on YouTube, still Super Soul Sisters. Like, subscribe and comment. Also, don't forget that this program airs every Wednesday at 9 p.m. here on UBC TV and a repeat on Friday 11 a.m. and always on YouTube you'll get all these. Also, I want to again remind you about the 14th of December, Nakasero Amphitheatre. Make a date with us and come and support a girl child. Why do I say that a girl child is very interesting? Everyone talks about, support a girl child. But we make it, you hear about it, but until you leave the moment, you'll never understand how these girls need help. Today, Faweu is requesting for just 20K. Let me give you how people use 20K. 20K that you give to this child can get this child to school. The same 20K you can put it in beer and you get drunk and you get to use it. The same 20K that most of us, I know that this 20K that they are talking about, it's not a lot of money. 20K is money that we use for lunch. Most of us who work. 20K is money that you use to go and take a drink. 20K is what you use to buy groceries. 20K is what people use to bribe others. So if you can get this 20K and just deposit, say let us support a girl child. If even 100 people did that, let's talk about even 50. You say that 50 within your community, talk to your friends if you watch this show that, okay, there's a show, blah, 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 and they're giving 20K to support these children. If you can even collect 5 people, that's 100,000. Let's say 10 people, 200. 15 people, that's already 300. And some of these kids pay 500 school fees. So imagine 20 people can keep a child in school. And yet that very 20 people can make a child drop out of school. So just love a girl child and contribute this money. Some of us at this age that I am, most of our mothers didn't have time to go to school, but they took us to school. So if you are a lady, if you're a man and you went to school, just imagine what your mom had to sacrifice. And what would you like any other woman to go through that? Let's assume your parent didn't go to school and they are now old in the village. Or if your sister, some of us have sisters who dropped out of school for reasons of not having school fees, maybe for dropping out because they cannot afford pads, they cannot afford requirements, they felt out of place, and now they are wasted. And this program runs throughout the country. It is not centered in Kampala. From what Linda said, they have girls from all over Uganda. And when they're giving these bursaries, they give it equally. Like they take care of you. Nor do they only pay school fees. That's what I always tell people, that you don't just pay school fees. What have you done apart from depositing that money in the bank? Have you talked to the person who's going to go to school? So they have all these programs. They empower these girls. They give them requirements. They actually make them focus in education, and most times they triumph because of that. So just do a favor and give this money. I want to again talk about the money that we are going to get from the finale. Once we get this money, that's why we are bringing Faweu on board, because they deal with these girls directly. So the whatever money we collect there, since we are working as partners, as UBC, we will make sure that this money reaches the right people. And we will bring those girls here to testify that they have actually gone to school and the money has helped them. Just like the way Linda said earlier when we had a conversation, that they collected 16 million. And imagine 16 million. That one someone spends for 2 days in a holiday. It was able to pay 15 girls in senior fund, senior 6. So this program, as I told you earlier, we are going to put this, you will see it on the screen. You just follow the prompt, give the money, and let's support a girl child. So now I'll come back to, when I talk about girls, I get so carried away. But let me come back to Linda. Linda, this 20K that you have, you've requested, it's not just 20K, someone can even give more.
Absolutely, yes.
Give more. So now, what plans do you have? Because right now, the girls who sat senior 4 and senior 6, what plans do you have for them?
So for the girls who have sat, well, both senior 4 and senior 6, we have other scholarship programs that they can apply for to continue their education, and we very much encourage them to do so. We encourage any deserving student out there who wants to continue to apply for those other bursaries. We also want to make sure that they can continue in their education, that, okay, we've paid for one term, but how can we continue to support these girls? The challenges don't just go away after somebody steps in to help one time. These are chronic issues, and there's a lot of challenges that face all of the girls across Uganda and across the world face. And we hear inspiring stories every day. I've even read through the participants of 3Oul Sisters, and even they have inspiring stories. And so every girl out there has, something that's
they want to share.
They want to share.
And you know what makes me happy? Like we shared with you these girls' stories. These girls actually have the passion.
Yes.
Actually, me, I get not overwhelmed. What is this? These girls challenge us, because you find that a child, like now, if you've read, there is a story among those girls who had to, like, she's living in a family where she had to use old mattresses for pads, and then she had to go to school. But because she's brilliant, the school allowed her. Then at a certain point, she didn't have even friends, had to collect for her money. But imagine a child like that still has the passion.
Yes.
So those are things that I said that I thank you guys so much for pulling out such girls from such state, because if they opt for studies, it means they see that there is a future. Yeah. So now I also want to come back again to you, still on the girl child. There are some of, since you work throughout Uganda, which areas do you find more challenging that girls drop out of school?
It's hard to pinpoint an area. I think it definitely depends on an individual's situation. And during one of our selection exercises for another scholarship, we were able to actually go and do home visits to our applicants across the country. And the situations we found, the challenges that we heard about and that we witnessed were truly heartbreaking. And we want to be able to help every single one. And we're doing everything we can through this campaign, through other ideas and things that are upcoming. And so I don't think that we can say this region needs more than this, and this is why we work all across the country. We work in Central, we work the East, the West, the North, West Nile, Karamoja. We're truly everywhere. And we're just looking for those who are most deserving and those who are truly in need of this support and who have that passion to continue.
Wow, interesting. There's something that we haven't talked about. What do you do with kids who have disability, like hearing impairment, they are disabled? Have you had a special program for them? Maybe you can throw some light on them.
Yeah, of course. They're very welcome within our programs. We do everything we can to make sure that they have the same experience with that program, that project, that intervention as anyone else would have. And so whether that's bringing partners on board that can help us understand and provide for maybe those needs that are specific. And I think everyone can have specific needs by times, and so we don't exclude. We have a specific, usually some projects will have targets for the number that we need, but generally, that's another vulnerability, right? And it's something that we still want to support, and they can be absolutely brilliant.
Have you had any that has been on board?
Yes, we have a few students with disabilities in our programs, and they're doing quite well.
Quite well. Yeah. Wow, we would like, if possible, we meet some of them so that they inspire. Because right now on 3Oul Sisters, we auditioned and we have 2 girls.
Okay.
2 of them, if you read through, there are 2 girls who have hearing impairment, and one is doing fashion, the other one is passionate about becoming a celebrity.
Okay. Good
She's
goals.
so passionate about becoming a celebrity, and when you listen to their stories, like most of them still come from, there is still stigma that is
Absolutely.
placed on these children, like, why would you give birth to a child who is deaf? Why would you give to a child who is blind, like it's a curse? You know, Africa has a lot of traditional attachment to most of the situations that are even scientific. For you who comes from a school of science, you understand that certain things happen because of certain things. But here we Africans attach so much into that, which I think people should get out of it. And one more thing I would like to ask you. Having worked in Uganda for 2 years, I know that's enough time for you to do observational research, enough time for you to do even research, just evaluation, and get to know how exactly the girl-child situation is. So in your career, the 2 years you've been here working with girls, what challenges have you had with parents and girls?
There's, a number of challenges. Faweu Uganda, for example, does a lot of work and advocacy for re-entry of teen mothers. So that's definitely a large challenge. Child marriage, teen pregnancy, these are things that need to be addressed now. They're not only does it affect a child's education and their future, but so many other things in their life. And on top of that, there's a lot of child-headed households. As we go around the country, we see a lot of children stepping up into roles that really shouldn't be theirs, and they do a great job at taking care of their families, but they need to be focused on their education and their future.
They need to be children.
They need to be children, and so everywhere you go, there's always someone with a story, and so some of these things that I've noticed really drive that passion and make what we do even more important and impactful, because you want to make sure that they have the opportunity, to follow their dreams, to learn what they want, to study, to create the future they want to see. And that's, again, part of our kind of slogan is together educating girls for a better Uganda.
Yeah.
And the better Uganda really comes from, what can happen when people have the opportunity to pursue their dream, to, lean into what they're passionate about, and what can come from that. And how do we work together to make that happen?
With the 2030 agenda, we are almost there.
Almost there. There's
Almost
definitely
how many years
progress.
do we have? We have like 6 years.
Yes, there's still time.
Do you think we shall achieve that?
Let's see. Let's keep working toward it. I think
Yeah.
that's the best we can do is continue our work, and there's so much good work going on.
Yeah. Okay, great. So what message do you have for people out there?
In terms of the 20K for Transformation campaign, we would appreciate any bit of support that can be given. We're asking for a minimum of 20,000 Ugandan shillings. Hopefully that's something you're able to give, but we're happy to take donations of even more than that. We're happy to find organizations, companies who are willing to support us in this journey. And really, it's not for Faweu, it's not for us, it's for the girl child in Uganda. It's for the future of Uganda, and making sure that everyone who's passionate and brilliant in their own way has an opportunity to contribute and to shape the nation going forward. And it's the 62nd year of Uganda, but I know the future is going to be even brighter for it. So let's keep progressing, and I think this is a great way for us to come together and drive that progress forward together. So education, I'm so privileged to have education, and many of us wouldn't be where we are without that privilege. And so let's give the privilege to those girls and help their stories become even more inspiring by having a happy ending.
Wow, interesting. What a powerful message. So I will just say that Linda has wrapped it all. I'll not say much, but we are going to put this in the screen, and then you will contribute. This money goes to this particular place, and they will give you accountability. We shall call Linda here again to tell us in a few 3 months or so, probably next year, to tell us how far the campaign went and how many children they have been able to help. Because in January, we all know that kids will be going back to school, and they have already a date. You know, if once you paid for someone's senior fund, senior six, they will still come back. And from what she has said is like they help these girls. They don't just stop there. They make sure that you reach in a level where you're able to support yourself, which is very good. And we give credit to Faweu, Africa, Plan International, Uganda Broadcasting Corporation, and the entire team of Super Soul Sisters, because we work all as partners. We work as a team. You know, they say teamwork makes things great. We work like a herd of lions. We make sure that we hunt together, we work together, so that we celebrate together. So still, I want to remind you about 14th of December at Amphitheater. Please make a date with us. You will not regret. Make a date with us. Come for the most inspiring story pageant. Bring the schools. Schools, if you're listening to this, you're watching, please come and support your contestants. Come and support them. Come and, even the schools, even if the child is not from that school, come. Parents, aunties, uncles, grandparents, some of the kids stay with their grandparents, and let us have a day. There's going to be a lot. We are going to bring musicians just to spice up the day. We have some eats. We have enough parking, and the other thing is you cannot get lost from Nakasero. It is in the center of town. So whichever direction you come from, you will live peacefully. And it's going to be a free day. So it's going to be a Saturday, so it's going to be a good day for you. I also remind you that please follow us on YouTube, still Super Soul Sisters, like, comment, tell us what you need to change. Bring your new ideas. We'll always read and get to it. Also remember to watch us on UBC TV, 9 p.m. Wednesday, repeat 11 a.m. Friday, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. But before we go, the last word, what is that inspirational word we should take home from you as Linda? Maybe first what I'd like to say is, I've mentioned that we have a video series associated with the 20K for Transformation campaign. So if you want to watch those videos, you know, get inspiration from the teachers, the students, the alumni themselves, you can go to Faweu Uganda social media on X, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, and YouTube, and see the videos there. And ultimately, I just want to say, you know, thank you for having this conversation. Thank you for, you know, thank you everyone for supporting the 20K for Transformation campaign. Wow, thank you very much. What the tag, I know that Linda was a scientist, is a scientist, and not very many women do science in her country and even here in Uganda. So I would say that encourage people to do whatever they want. As women, scientists can also be doing something that is social. So it's not about that they are going to do for you chemicals and stuff. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. My name is Jamila Loka. You have a lovely day.